This could have been it. This could have been the start of Fido's prediction being right here and Skimmy and I being wrong, because Kanga looked amazing in this first bit. They did phenomenal in their lanes, but yet again, Skim, it was unfortunate this middle part of the game coming out of lanes just wasn't easy for them. They struggled a lot, but a massive props to Ion for being able to play from behind like they did, I think for the first time that we've seen so far in LCO.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, it was a phenomenal start for the mid-jungler Kanga, right, to gank and target Jovi and make sure that this Yone wasn't going to be a threat. But even 1 and 5 in that, you're seeing him still lead the line, acting as a tank, jumping in like a madman possessed. Didn't really care. I'm just going to split push. I'm going to get a cleanse. I'm going to invalidate all your champions so I get the freedom and the uptime that I need. And then it sort of hit that late game point, right, when Nebula and Hexflash are sort of doing their own thing. But for me, Doraemon was the big standout. You saw that one clip in the replay package here. Top lane, he's getting dived, 2v1, doesn't really care, takes them both on. And it was only really that death and final few minutes of the game before it finished that he fell on down. So huge performance, a first pick rumble that justifies just how strong it is.
Yeah, pretty much a perfect game, except for that one death that you mentioned there for Doraemon. But I like it, all the moving parts for Ion to make what feels like a perfectly well-oiled machine here, Fido. The fact that you're not having a jungler that looks at that KDA, that your Jinx is still able to get triple kills in fights where it feels like you guys aren't the ones that are initiating and you might not actually be able to win this.
Yeah, really impressed with Ion. You know, they stuck to their guns. They knew that their draft was sort of a little bit weaker in the early game. Maybe they had a little bit less prior mid and bot, but they didn't die. You know, they maintained, except for the one Jinx death in 2v2, but they maintained relatively small CS gaps and it came to the team fights and they just ran away with the game.
What could Kanga have done, though, Fido, to be able to have what was such a good laning phase transition into a better mid game for them? Like, where exactly do you feel that fell apart for them?
I think Kanga have taken a little bit too seriously the battle for mid prior. They seem to be sending 5 people mid every time they want mid prior. Problem with that is the enemy top pushes the side wave and then walks into your jungle. And if you go into river, you're basically already being flanked by the enemy top and you're bleeding a side wave as well. So you need to stop going 5 mid, go for 1, and you know try to play through side lane as well.
All right, well, let's have a look at some of the stats here from this match, because I'm hoping that maybe we see that swing, that moment that you're talking about where they're putting too much priority on mid happen in the gold difference. And it is pretty evident. It has that dip down in favor of Kangaskim, and then it jumps up to Ion. They're able to bring it back to relatively even, but after that, I'm pretty sure that was that mid lane fight there. It was just all theirs. They get the Baron, then they get Dragon, then they're able to just push 2 lanes at once.
Yeah, as you say, Nebula gets the triple kill on the Jinx. They get a Baron, a Dragon, and 2 inhibitors from their efforts as well. And by that point, you know, it's sort of the writing on the wall. We've got so much siege, so much range, so much denial of your potential engage that even with fantastic vision for a TP flank, it just wasn't going to be. I think the TPs were kind of lackluster this game, either late or just not really finding too much value out of them. They were sort of drawn in for very fake Barons that were started very early on by Ion. And Kanga sort of got drawn right into that. The thing that stands out for me the most is, despite just how strong Doraemon was, his damage is only barely higher of that of Jovi, right? It just shows how strong this champion is. 1 and 5, doesn't really care. The replay package was basically him just going on a kamikaze mission every single time. If I live, it's great. If I don't, it's whatever. Like, I'm worth no gold. So, yeah, phenomenal pairing from the 2 solo liners for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that Nebula was having a little bit of that rough game, and then we see him pick up the kills, right? But I feel like all of his stats were in the KDA and the gold he was getting from it, because his damage output was a lot lower. He wasn't able to just sit there and freely hit all of the time. Maybe he was out of range. So the fact that the mid laner, Zovi, top lane, Doraemon having phenomenal there. Anything else when you look at the stats though, Fido, that you take away for either the side of Kanga or Ion when we look towards game 2?
I think we have to look at Ion and see that Nebula was not the main character this game, and they still had a convincing victory, and that's important for players to understand that even if they're doing badly, they don't need to take crazy risks to win the game. Just sit back and Doraemon will carry you on Rumble. All good, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if you get to first pick a Rumble, you've got to make it work. They definitely made it work for themselves. Did you also like, I know that you guys talked about it a little bit when draft was happening, the fact that they were willing to leave their bot lane all the way till the very end for Ion? And do you think it's something that they might try and also do now that they're going to be moving to the red side skin?
I feel like when you're on red side, you're more likely to save the solo laners for last pick, as we saw for Kanga. I would love to see Doraemon or Jovi have that pick saved for them, because they're certainly very capable of punishing in a matchup where they can, yeah, very much flourish. You saw in this game, obviously, Nebula wasn't the star of the show, despite the Jinx still having a pretty solid performance. 5 bans went towards him. I think on the other side, you're saying, well, I reckon a lot of these pocket bans, like the Kalista and the Jax, probably will still be echoed once more. I would be quite keen to see, yeah, Jovi or Doraemon once again just get given the reins to be a carry, be a star of the show, and say, look, I'm more than just a tank or more than just a a mage that farms 10 CS per minute and gets my job done.
Do you ban out the Lucian still fighter, or do you hope, oh, maybe you could pick it up for yourself on the side of Kanga, and that's almost like that denied pick? Is it within Kanga's wheelhouse too?
Yeah, I think Rila is a Lucian player, so they might go for the Lucian 1P. I think they have to ban Rumble if their top is not going to play Rumble, because the answer to Rumble worldwide is Udyr, right? You just pick Udyr and you just ignore him, and then you're a tank and Rumble isn't, and that's kind of more useful. Whereas with K'Sante, it feels like you can kind of ignore him, but you're losing your lane, and you're losing the 2v2s, and you're not really able to draw pressure on the map. So I think K'Sante didn't work for them, and if there's no other solutions, they have to ban Rumble.
Yeah, well, then that almost is a 2-for-1, right? If you're like, oh, let's first pick Lucian ourselves, then that ban frees up, and you could just put Rumble into that category if you just don't want to have to deal with an almost perfect KDA Doraemon again in game number 2. So we'll see what that happens, how it plays out for them, but we're not going to see it just yet. First, we want to hear from you guys at home. Every week, we ask you a From the Fans question. You get to tweet at us at LCO. Instagram, I think, is another place that you can do it.
Yep.
Yeah, at Skimmy as well, at Fido, and we'll bring it up on broadcast this week. The question's already gone out, but we'll repeat it here on broadcast for you. You perma-ban a champ from your opponent, but it's on your team every game. Who do you ban?
So first of all, we need to clarify, how do you interpret this? Because it's been striked through. What does it mean?
Yeah,
We're perma-banning a champion from our opponents, but then we have to actually play with it.
Yeah, when I first read it, I was like, oh, perma-banning someone. But what it actually means is if you could stop your enemy team from playing a champion, but it means it has to be on your team, what champion would it be? So it's like, you can't just say, oh, I'd perma-ban Yuumi, because then she's going to be on your team. Hey, maybe you're all for that. Maybe you like that. Maybe you think she's a little bit
perma-ban Zed, because I believe the Zed on my team is just built different. I reckon if I've got Faker Fighter on my team, that Zed is farming up an absolute storm. They're 1v9ing, they're farming top waves, they're just telling their team, much like Fighter did in the LCO of splits gone by, guys, let's get to 45 minutes, I'll 1v9, trust.
Yeah, see, I feel like what we just saw with Zovi on Yon is like, I wanna like, Yon would be my champ, right? But I just know the Yon on my team is never a Zovi Yon. But I know the Yon on the other team always is.
Yeah, the Yon on your team he'll try to go for that 1v3 and he'll die. He's not going to get the kill back, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see what some people have submitted, though. Maybe they're on the same wavelength as us. Someone said, Carvin! Carvin said Lissandra.
Wow.
Yeah. You got any inklings to that, Skim? You played a couple games with him before.
I have. Look, Lissandra's one of those very annoying champions. Been around in the meta for a hot minute, especially, I think last year we saw a fair bit of Lissandra. Yeah, you get that one kill. I think we saw like Lissandra Viego was appearing a lot. They would get one kill, double resets. You're taking all these clones. Yeah, very annoying. Yeah, probably not bad. Very annoying to stun, especially when Zonius comes in. You're just like immune for like 18 billion seconds. So yeah, probably not the worst to have on your team.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. You can always draft around it, too, if you know it's going to be on your team. We could run through themselves. They said Udyr. No reason at all. We don't want to say.
Fighter just mentioned it, right? He's just like, the champions are so broken.
It's broken, man. Just ban it. No, I'm on the same wavelength as them. Like, just ban this champ if you can't play it. It's confusing to play against. It's not something, you know, when you see like K'Sante, like sure everybody complains about it, you know, Showmaker, all the memes, but it's been around for a while. Like we've seen it, we know the damage, we know what it does. But Udyr, like nobody knows what's going on. There's just this thing coming towards you. Do you dodge the circle?
True.
Do you dodge the Udyr? Like what do you do?
You're caught between a rock and a hard place. I feel like there's a new meme format that can come out of that one. But for now, guys, we are still in the middle of our first best of 2 for our Monday night. So let's jump to a break because we want to see game number 2. We want to know if Kanga can pull it back. But first, we gotta wait.
We just living it up, I love it.
Kevy's up, it becomes the Varus. Falls down on the stopwatch, it's carnage! They're all charged at his command! Oh, kaboom! It's do or die! Welcome back for our second game of our very first series of the night here. It's a Monday night and we've got Iron up against Kanga, and for Kanga really, Fido, it's a case of can we bounce back? Because every single time early game is looking great, but it's the mid game that comes around, you start to go, whoa guys, what's going on? Why are we losing to a 1-5 Yone? What's happening? What do they need to do to change things up when they get blue side?
Yeah, Skimmy, it's the same story. Multiple games in a row now for Kanga, just getting leads, but they're slowly slipping away, and then at one point it just feels unwinnable. Not too sure. I think it starts in the draft, Skimmy. I think we have to pick a draft that is less reliant on winning with tempo, because clearly, you know, Kanga don't have the coordination, don't have the shot calling, whatever the source that they're missing, they don't have it. They've tried to close the games out early, they can't. So maybe just pick some scaling, pick some late game, pick some range, right? So that you can actually survive wave clear and maybe thrive in the late game.
Yep, late game as well, we're looking to try and get to, and to try and really disturb that, it's the case of ban the Lucian and ban that Rumble. That's what you expected to see coming out from Kanga on this side switch. As for Ion, I don't think we're too surprised. We kind of expected that the Kalista and Jax would still come through as those pocket ban denials, but the Yone actually coming out as the last ban here, really showing that Jovi, it was annoying and maybe too strong given the current state of things.
Yeah, he did look like a monster with very little resources, a very bad KDA, and still killing them. So I can't blame them for that ban, and I'm glad that they listened to us. They tuned into the Twitch stream and they banned the Rumble as well. So I think it's probably as good as you get for Kanga from that series. I think they made the right conclusions. We'll see where they go with the first pick.
So what is their first pick priority? It looks like it's going to still be bot lane. So Varus last game on the red side. It's going to be the Aphelios on the blue side to open their account. So what do Iron decide now? They think, okay, every champ up and available, do we just need to match them in the bot lane? Or do we feel confident enough that we can just blindly lock in solo laners?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can just pick the Varus. You can just pick anything really into Aphelios. Aphelios worldwide has been picked as a response into Lucian, right? It's rarely actually blinded. It's picked as a response into Lucian. They look in the Xayah. I would really like to see Ion go for... They want to go for the Xayah Rakan. That makes sense. But Xin Zhao is great into Aphelios as well, and it's a power pick, still open. Wouldn't be surprised if either team snags it up.
Yeah.
Xayah Rakan? Yeah, they don't want the Rakan to be taken away by Kanga. Cool. Bot lane locked in. We'll see what Kanga go for. Should be a jungle pick here, I imagine. I don't think there's really any point dropping jungle to the next phase if they keep picking the same champions.
Well, that becomes the question, though. Are they going to change it up? Because Invictus is stuck to his guns with this Graves. It's another case of win early, lose late. So will they really look to try and shake things up? Would we perhaps get a brand jungle and just completely go full solo queue? Instead, it's the Lilia. So you'd expect a very strong AD draft with a solo Lilia in the jungle to try and carry it all. And I'd be quite excited for this.
Oh, yes. Give me the Rhea Fury Draven mid. I've seen this before. Can happen.
That's another champion that can happen. He's played this in LCO. Yep.
Yep. Akshan can be good. Lilia generally prefers to have a CC mid. Like Lilia Yone's a good combination because there's a bit of follow-up. So we'll probably see them hide their mid pick for now. They go with a Bard.
Very interesting. Yeah, I'm just seeing mobility galore right now. Really are going to be leaving that Aphelios on a bit of an island to face the Xayah Rakan. But out comes the Corki, and it's like, well, if you just want to go roaming around the map, we're going to punish you.
Yeah, and Corki's a great pick here. Quite easy to dodge the bottle, right, with the Valkyrie, and also great into Lilia, right? Like Lilia wants to play against melee champs. She wants to stack up those passive stacks, get the move speed going. But I mean, you're not going to stack it on Xayah. You're definitely not going to stack it on Corki. So stylistically, Ion have picked some good answers into what Kanga have.
And do you know what I like? And this is a bit of a throwback. It's the fact that Tryndamere is being banned away from Rhea Fury. Now, I saw him give us a bit of a smile on the camera before. Whether or not it's a bit of a nod to the fact that he beat Yuri on old PGG as a Tryndamere into the Corki, one of the biggest upsets we had that year, or that split rather. He's saying, look, you're not allowed to choose with this champion again, and you're not allowed to go for something control mage oriented. So, I mean, Azir is still up and available. Does that just seem like the default choice, or...?
Yeah, but you've got Azir, Lilia, Bard, 3 AP champs. It feels a little bit awkward. Like, the Lilia just kind of... The problem with picking Lilia early is that you basically lock yourself in to an AD mid, right? Or you go AP mid, and then the enemy team just buys Merc Treads, and you know, says thank you very much. That's very high value for the magic resist and the tenacity. So I'm not really sure what Kanga can go for here. Ion just definitely need a nice sort of gelling jungler. Jarvan fits the bill, maybe a little Vi, something like that. Vi would be great here as well. Rel jungle, that's great. Just a low budget CC jungler, you know, and they've locked that in. So great drafting from Ion. What is Kanga's response? What do you pick here? Like, do you pick Poppy? Poppy is good. There's a lot of dashes on the enemy team, but do you know, you're outranged by the Corki right now. I'm not sure what's going on Kanga's side, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, they've dropped themselves in a bit of a hole, as you say, with the mid
Okay,
lane
the
picks.
Akshan.
So yeah, it's an Akshan. I was thinking maybe a Tristana, perhaps, if you're thinking like a double AD and double bot lane, or double AD carry, rather. Finally we got there. Double AD carry setup. Obviously the Akshan sort of fits the bill in a similar vein, but it's been a very, very niche champion, and I suppose once again it's really hunting for that pick to get those revivals.
Yeah, Akshan Corki is a great matchup in lane. You can get solo kills, you have a lot of pressure, but it's the same problem. You do get outranged. They've locked in Renekton, which is a good salvage pick. It gives them some CC. You've got no CC Akshan. You've got very unreliable CC in Lilia. And you've got the Bard. So you've got the Bard and the Renekton as your primary engage. You are outranged. And Ion just say... pick a tank in the top lane, maybe? Or is Doraemon gonna bless us with another carry game?
Surely he gives us another carry game. Surely.
Yes,
Cycles
sir.
all the way through into an Aatrox and says, look, Aatrox, Rel, and a Corki, good luck fighting into that. It's engage, it's cheap item spikes, and it's enough to try and say that you're never going to get on top of us with this Renekton or this Lilia.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what Kanga have cooked up here. There's a little bit of everything in there. What I can say is that they do have strong lanes. They do have... you know, the Bard that can influence mid. They have a winning mid matchup, and they have a support that wants to roam mid. So if they're going to win this game, it has to start with Akshan. You know, Akshan needs to get a lead. They need to help Akshan get a lead, have Perma Prio and Corki, and then move to sides and impact the sides.
What are you thinking then, overall, holistically? Because obviously we look at Ion's compensate, fantastic. Ease of execution would certainly seem to be there. You know, comprehensive in terms of from start to finish, you knew what they were aiming for, and that's what it's gone down to. So for Kanga, it's like, okay, how do we look to try and cook this one up and sort of make it a winning formula? Obviously, we talk about early game once again, but is it as simple as saying maybe forget the Dragon priority this time, perhaps deny the Void Grubs?
Yeah, could be. I think the priority is just frag out, guys. Like, just get some kills, you know, just individual brilliance. We've picked these champions that don't make a cohesive draft, but maybe we'll have really good champion mastery on them. Maybe we all can execute well, and if you can execute well, you can win any game with any draft, really. So it'll be up to Kanga to, again, keep up the pace and not find themselves in a stalemate where at 30 minutes, this Corki just outranges the whole team and they can't get the mid prior and they're late to the objectives, and it's the same story of game one.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit awkward in that regard. Well, let's talk about Akshan, obviously the most exciting champion. You've played the champion yourself also on stage. How does it fit in the meta as such right now? Do you think it's kind of benefited from the changes of the new season? Is it lethality? Are you going typical AD carry like Kraken Slayer? Where do you find it sort of sitting in this game?
Well, that's a good thing about Akshan is Akshan can actually just do anything. Like, you can go AP Akshan if you wanted to, you can go AD, you can go crit, you can go tank Akshan. You know, Hullbreaker Titanic Akshan is actually broken because with a Titanic Hydra, you reset your auto, you already get a double auto, so now you got 4 autos in a row. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's pretty crazy. It adds up real quick. But yeah, I reckon he'll probably go for the lethality build, like just the on hit with the Voltaic Cyclo Sword and maybe Storm Razor, and he'll just go for that sort of come out of the shadows, one tap you for half the health bar assassin Akshan in this game, I think.
And then I guess in that same vein, then be very reliant on the Akshan for their wave clear, because without that, they're going to be sort of lacking in a lot of those other places, right? The Aphelios is going to be too prevalent unless they've got the correct weapon set up for it, and obviously the Lilia doesn't want to be spending too much time in lane attributing that to wave clear. Well, let's jump into our second matchup, as there is the Corgi skin. It is certainly the best in slot 1, and no wonder our observers are zooming right on Joby's head to say, look at him shake.
Even Rear Fury smiling, he loves it. That skin's amazing. The best purchase you can make if you're a Corki player. Makes it more satisfying to play the champions. That and the first strike on the E, that is so satisfying when you play Corki and you just hear like the constant dinging and getting that 1 gold, 1 gold, 1 gold every time you hit someone with your E. It doesn't actually make a difference in terms of items. The number looks very small, but it's very satisfying visually. And yeah, Rear Fury going for a cheeky ward on the Raptors. Rel, definitely a champion that starts Raptors most of the time. And she can one-shot this camp.
Yeah, seemingly looks like that's the case again, right? He's going to be starting off in that one, and pings are going out in that direction as to Where Foreigner is going to be at the start, talking about
Ooh.
Ion as a whole. They're actually going to go for a nice little push at level 1
Okay.
here, hiding in the bush, waiting to see if there will be a face check. Will there be a ward? Will anybody decide to pay attention
Hello?
to that bush?
Guys?
Or will they get a jump on them?
Okay.
Grand
Nice
entrance
ghost by Rilla.
completely missed. Yeah, out comes the ghost. That's the
very
only
good.
price, just a single summoner. And now Hexflash is just going to get bullied back.
Yeah, I think that was really smart by Rilla, using the ghost, low cooldown, but gives him pretty much full prior in this lane, so very good investment. Gets a chunk onto Hexflash. Of course, he does have some potions. Oh, the flash.
Win again, yes! Double flash to try and make things happen for Hexflash. Much like his name, he's going to have that available in just a second, so really, it's still a winning trade for Ion.
Yeah, missed opportunity there by Kurak. I think if he flash Q'd there and the Q actually landed, the Rakan will just die. He has no escape, he has no W, he has no flash. But kind of a bit hesitant on the trigger there. That's okay. Summoner's traded, favoring Ion. And we might see an early gank from Foreigner in this bot lane. Beautiful. Kurak placing the ward, anticipating that Rel might look bot. No sums on the AD carry, so that's a great ward. That's a good timing to keep themselves safe. And of course, Invictus on the Lilia, just doing the AFK clearing path. Actually didn't start Raptors, so very, very greedy. Started blue. He's doing the full clear out. Being as efficient as possible.
And should be fairly confident in sort of being that greedy as well, because they'll know that we have full vision and idea as to where this rel is at any given moment. We can shove in the spot wave, even despite having no summoners on AD carry. We know we shouldn't be under any threat.
Yeah, and top lane should be a little bit less exciting this time around because they are running double teleport, and it's a fairly even matchup. And we can see Akshan is bullying mid lane. He's constantly under tower, not getting a big CS lead, but does have the prior. Should there be a bot dive available, he can definitely move down. Both mid and bot winning their lanes for Kanga, but we'll just have to see if Ion can punish that no sums Aphelios.
Yeah, it's going to be the tough ask, right? It's the case of first, can they punish it, and two, can they find a way into that one? Because Invictus knows exactly where this rel is, and it's just going to run him down. The Conqueror is fully stacked up, the flash goes out, but Invictus not willing to commit to it. I feel like there's a world in which you have enough movement speed to get in and get out.
It's a tank, mate. That's supposed to be a tank champion, but he just disappeared, and 2 abilities and 3/4 of his health gone. So that's great start for Invictus. He's got the double scuttle off that, so definitely getting a bit of a CS lead going. And a bit of a scare for Foreigner as well. That flash could have been crucial to get onto Aphelios in the bot lane to punish that flashless AD carry, but not available anymore. So perhaps Ion will have to rethink their game plan.
Certainly may do. It went that direction the very first time as well, if you remember, in terms of early game, getting first blood against them. But ultimately able to hold their own on this one. As for Doraemon, this will be the first time we've seen the Aatrox this entire split. There'll be another one of his champions, as we mentioned already. Gets the Thundered Sky, basically full build. How crazy is that as a top laner? You feel pretty confident about your chances, especially into a Renekton, if you can keep them at a pretty neutral state. They're not snowballing, but you're just going out of control.
Yep, but this time around, we do see that Woodon is the one with the control over the lane, the one with a little bit of a CS lead, and kind of the roles reversed. So that's great to see that Woodon kind of bounced back mentally, didn't let that Rumble game get into his head, and is playing back to his usual self.
Double TP, so back to a standard affair as you stay in that top lane. So let's see if anything can happen as a result of that one. But then it's Fury who's opted for the no TP approach. Wants to try and get the ball rolling.
Dropping a lot of CS here. We saw mid lane, he was ahead, but now he's actually dropped almost 7 or 8 CS against the Corki. That's not how you want this matchup to go. Usually, I think on an Akshan mid, I speak from experience, you have to use that Ignite on the first couple of waves just to secure yourself a good base. Otherwise, you'll run into this situation where the enemy mid just TP's back and you lose a full wave. Now you're down XP and supposedly a winning matchup, and you lose control a little bit.
Let's see if he can hit level 6 first and foremost, then he can hit the comeuppance and perhaps get a reset, or perhaps even get a kill from that one. There it is, but it's going to be matched by Jovi, so no real tangible advantage for either at this very early point in the game. It's a dead even one at that, as we're just looking to try and play around the summoner advantages, if anything else. But Foreigners around in the spot lane once again. It is a double Hex Flash available for them. Invictus in the area too, only a few camps away, or perhaps even just one camp away from hitting level 6 himself. So he's going to start things off, and I think Foreigner's just confused. Why is this Lilia in our jungle? Why are they just burning? Why are they dead? Why has Ignite got the first blood? And what was that play?
Yeah, not sure what's going on there. I mean, first of all, let's look at the trinket for Lilia. Lilia still has the ward trinket.
Oh, good response though from Rila though. Perhaps the Graviton coming in at the right time, the right place. Refury with the comeuppance, but he's entered it early. Doesn't matter, the root comes through and really gets a double kill. He had no summoners, but he had no care. Nearly, Fido, nearly snagging a triple.
Yeah, great move from Refury from mid lane. And Nebula not flashing instantly, trying to sidestep the Akshan Q. Gets another kill, and really what should be a very costly roam in terms of minions lost for Akshan became very worthwhile. 2 plates going down as well for Kanga. And that's the sort of play that we want to see from them in the early game. They've got a weird, wonky draft, and they want random stuff to happen. They want the chaos.
Yeah,
and
Invictus starts it off by running in here like a madman.
Yeah, he doesn't ward the bush. He like walks outside of it and then runs backwards. Just really bad movement by him. Kind of bad awareness of where the enemy jungler could be. How does this get salvaged? It's a 2v3, and Kurak and Rila actually just win this 2v3. Like, they're actually just winning it. A great Bard stun. Hex Flash going too far forward. His flash must have just been on cooldown. And yeah, the really great timing from the Refury roam. And here, this is, yeah, the last kill on top as well, with Nebula not flashing it.
Yeah, flashing at the very last moment, but by that point already Refury had done the exact same, so they were sitting very comfortable in this game and saying it is a little bit spicy, it is a little bit different, and even if we do start off with a numbers deficit, we can certainly turn things around. And they actually have completely flipped the script. They asked, would they go for the Void Grubs? They certainly have. They've picked up 3 of those for the trade, with Ion going for the Dragon instead. So 8 minutes into this one, you're thinking, okay, same story as game 1. What is different this time? How good can mid-game be?
Yeah, we'll see if the Kanga can keep up the tempo. Refury going in.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's already swung into this one. He's completely out of options because he burnt the flash prior. He saw a moment to try and be active on Jovi, but Foreigner was just biding his time and said, I know you're going to go for that play, and instantly punishes.
Yeah, and we were asking about the Akshan build. Looks like it'll be the Kraken Slayer variation. But that's the thing about Akshan. Your E, it's your only escape, right? But it also does a lot of damage. So you do want to use it when you trade, but you know, you need to chuck a ward down to have some information about where the enemy jungler is, because as soon as you E forward, you're very exposed and easy to gank for, and it capitalizes on the mistake.
Yeah, certainly is one of those skills that can do the damage, given that you max at second. But on this occasion, yeah, he has been punished out of this one. It has given Jovi a bit of time to try and scale into this one, right? Pick up the enemy. Feel pretty confident about your ability to find pressure in this game. And I guess one of his unique champions, right, is the Corki. We've seen Malignance come out for more poke harassed. We've seen the Eclipse come out also for the very cheap spike at 1 item.
Yeah, Eclipse is such a strong item because it gives you just a truckload of AD. It doesn't give you lethality, and you don't want lethality on Corki, right? Like, that was the wasted stat back before the item got reworked, and it gives you that shield for survivability, so it's sort of everything you need on Corki. A face check by Jovi.
Not what we want. Out goes the swing, and there goes the Valkyrie away, so nothing really will come of it. But we always hold our breath and think, surely not another face check.
Yeah, I think there actually Akshan had a really good chunk opportunity. He just kind of swung a little bit too close to the wall. If he did a bit of a wider swing, he could have swung across that whole wall and done a lot of damage. Got a good trade, maybe chucked the Ignite down. But still, applying the pressure, not phased by the mistake he made, by the death he had, which is good to see.
He is. Kurak still being a bit of a menace. They've really kept a good tab as to where Foreigner's been for these first 10 minutes. Despite him getting that kill in the mid lane and helping out elsewhere, their tracking of the jungle has been, yeah, pretty on point.
Yeah, and we can see that Lilia slowly creeping ahead, which is natural, right, for a farming jungler. So we will see a bit of a gold lead on the jungle. Whether that's enough, it's a pretty difficult Lilia game. You can stack things off Rel. The good thing as well is Corki has no cleanse, so if any cheeky bowling ball lands on Corki's head, he will just die to the Lilia ult. So there's definitely options for Invictus, and he will have the farm to execute.
Yeah, he sort of knows he's in the driver's seat, was such a strong lead already, right? Get the Leandries and suddenly you become an absolute menace. Even despite the sort of deranged mismatch that will come into effect a little bit later on this one, it's certainly not enough to feel shy, to not really make any plays. Obviously, Refury can just go into the shadows, look to try and find out some scoundrels, but on this occasion say, you know what, a control ward will do just as well.
I hate that interaction on Akshan. When you get spotted by a ward and you unstealth to shoot it, you actually only get the first auto off. So you get the first 2 autos, and then you get the 1 from the second. So you can't actually kill the ward. You have to go back into the bush to claim it, which wastes a lot of time. Bit unfortunate for him there. A couple extra creeps lost. But still, you know, he's trying to be active on the map. That's really all you can do from this position. Now we'll have to see what Kanga decide to do once they have one item each. I think that will be a very big spike for them. Relay going the lethality build on Aphelios, so he's definitely going to be very strong at one item. Akshan as well. Looks like Ion's setting up Void Grubs, and Kanga's happy to trade some bot farm, perhaps some plates on the bot tower. Aphelios' win condition, more gold on him as happy days.
It certainly is, and it's almost, you feel bad for Nebula because he's been at this position for what feels like an eternity. Out goes the cleanse, there is the blade caller off the feathers being chucked up into the sky, but in comes Hex Splash with double summons being burned. It's a case of can we keep our carry alive and can we get something for this? Thrymon TP's in with a world ender and does just that. There's a shutdown, there's 2 kills, and your chance of getting those Void Grubs, let alone the Dragon, completely diminished.
Yeah, and that's just Kanga being kind of unrealistic with what they can get from that play, right? You get the Xayah ult for free, for absolutely free. That's great. You know, you get the cleanse and the Xayah ult, just back off. You know the TPs are available. You know that Akshan has no TP, he has no way to get into the play, and it's just the numbers are against you, right? So you just, Ion, punishing perfectly.
No Void might see it today though, Fido. 3 apiece for both sides as they look to go into this one and say, we're not going to overinvest, but on this occasion we physically could not. In jumps Hex Splash, the spin around the tower.
Oh my god.
Infinite damage, out he comes, there's the boomerang, there's the kill! As Fury finds the second of the game, no scoundrels, no resets, no revives, because everybody's alive, and there's the Dragon now.
That's season 14, the walls being so far away from the tower means if you get dived on Akshan, you can just start doing the infinite spin. And it looks funny, but it's actually very frustrating to play against because it's hard to track him. He's moving so fast. You have to body block him to interrupt. And yeah, failed dive by Ion. Dragon started.
Scenario, but Dragon has been started, as you say. Once the Ion so far, but I'm looking to try and contest this one. Kurak, not sure what you're doing there, buddy, but you are going to get punished for it. Out comes the Magical Journey. In comes the TP. Wood on rocks up, hits Dominus, and surrounded by 4, tries to life leech off the storm. Flash, pound, stun, and kill Shovi. There's the reset. And there's the revive, bring back to life Kurak, and hit the stun from afar, from it lives! But a double kill was found for the Akshan that knows no bounds, continues to press forward, continues to find success with his team.
Wow. It's such an exciting game, you know, like it's just, so much is happening on your screen, it's hard to keep track. I mean, as the Dragon started, Reeler not interested in coming for the Dragon, just hitting the tower, letting his teammates die. And then the Bard portal that Kurak throws at the last second saves Invictus. All these little things we'll see add up on the replay to make this fight favorable for Kanga. Here we go. So Relay is not coming to this Dragon. It should be obvious that it's being contested, but he's giving up on his team. Kurak still posturing aggressively, even though he's down a player. And this portal is what saves Invictus. Invictus just says, thank you very much, gets out of there. And now everybody's focusing Renekton, but he's just a bit too tanky at this stage of the game. Survives, gets a perfect flash on Corki, no cleanse. Akshan gets the kill, and that's a revive as well on the Bard. And yeah, once you get these resets on Akshan in near a wall, I mean, it's just Dream City. Beautiful stuff from Kanga. They get the Dragon, they get a bit of mid-tower damage, and the game is firmly in their favor.
Certainly is. A very convincing start so far for them. You have to wonder, okay, what can Ion do to get back into this one? They've done it time and time again. Ooh. They've shown that they can handle the pressure in the mid to early game.
Yeah, Ion not.
We win.
Ion's not using packages. They're just opting into these team fights with no Corki packages, and it's very risky.
He is. Invictus looking for that lilting lullaby, waiting for the moment to try and strike. Out goes the Tempered Fate. Stuns in place 2. Wood on ramping up that rage, looking to get that empowered stun. Out goes the Feathers, rip them back, get the root, and get the hell out of dodge. Nebula in trouble though. He's getting run down right now because Doraemon has already fallen on down. Look at Nebula at the top of your screen, surrounded by the entire team of Kanga. They found 2. They found what they need. You can have Herald, but we'll have everything else.
Yeah, and look, it just comes down to the fact that Corki is a great pick for lower teams because it gives you a very clear win condition. It gives you a very easy timer to play around. You got the package, you go team fight. You don't have the package, you know, team fight. But Ion have decided that they don't have a package and they'll still team fight, and the result is what you can expect.
Yeah, just seemingly not deterred by what is required for Champion to really flourish. Let's run it back on the replay again. It all starts with them saying, we want this Herald at any cost.
Yeah, they don't have a safe way out. They're corralled from all 3 angles. They have nowhere to go. Renekton's blocking off top side, and it's just a very easy Bard ult standing next to the wall. No way to dodge it, and it's just, you know, it's got Corki's not hitting. Corki's out of there. There's no real disengage. Just one by one, they're falling. And that Herald had a very high cost for Ion.
It certainly did. This is probably the
4K.
biggest gold lead we've had in the early stages, right? Usually it's been a K, maybe 2 at most, but this time it's a solid start, and the carries are really starting to shine. Like, you look at the mid jungle in particular this time around, whilst the early game was being, fantastic, they're linking up and remaining relevant and really at the top of the table.
Yeah, and I guess one thing that we have to draw attention to as well is even though Corki sure outranges this whole team, Rel is not really a champion that scales into late game, right? So they do have that Lilia scaling going in their favor for Kanga. And we see a lot of attention brought down bot lane from Ion. They're trying to let Jovi play safe, but Jovi, he's very aggressive. Should have dived there.
Trailblazer and Swifties, I mean, literally moving at Mach 10, eh?
I mean, he's changed champions, but he's playing the same way. He thinks he's Yon, he thinks that he can win side lanes, which is props to him. He's a very confident player. Gets the Malignance, so that's 2 items on board. Almost gets the Mana Immune upgraded. And that's going to be a very scary Corki. I mean, faster than any other champion in the game. Kanga's up 4K, and none of them have 2 items, but Jovi does.
Yeah, he's been farming up a Storm, the most farm in this entire game. He'll be looking to try and carry that tune for as long as he can, I'm sure. Sacrificing as much will be foreigner, no doubt, to try and allow that one to come into effect. But they are going to lose their first 3 towers. Jovi. As a result of this one, Jovi forced to flash away. Will he burn to the Ignite? Oh. 1 tick away. That's as close as it will get for Refaker.
He just needed the blue trinket there. That's always, he was playing that perfectly, the Akshan. He was just waiting for Corki to get far enough away from the tower so that he can start channeling his ult. But waited a little bit too long. The Ignite timed out. He had no vision. But definitely, if Refury still had the blue trinket there, that would be a kill on Corki. But, that's what we're talking about. Corki 2 items, Akshan 1. Akshan's one-shotting him. This is not a very good matchup in the 1v1.
No, but I tell you what, I saw his camera before. He's playing in the darkness. He is locked in. We're not playing with the lights on. We're going full degen mode. I am winning this game at all costs. I will get my team that single point that they need to really up their position in the ladder.
Love that from Rare Fury, and he goes Collector, which is I suppose a decent item. Doesn't help too much against Lurel, who's stacking armor, but the squishies will drop. So we see Kanga setting up the dragon. Next objective, they do have control of the mid wave. It's very hard for Ion to approach here. They don't really have any flank angles, but what they do have is a Corki package. He hasn't opted to take it yet, so we might see a give on the dragon. No, he is recoiling. So Corki is basing. We will see a contest with the Corki package, I'd imagine. We've got 2 items on Corki, no 2 items on anyone else, and it's a very scary point in the game, when the item disparity is so big, the Corki package just might not be enough to win a team fight for Ion.
Yeah, it's really a good consideration, and they're not going to look to be too deterred by this one, though, because they're going to summon the Herald in the mid lane, break open their very first turret of the game, and so we've got a package, we've got a dragon spawning within the next 20 seconds. This is our chance to shine, so let's make something happen with this. Let's get some bounties, most importantly, and get ourselves back into this game, fast approaching 20 minutes.
Yep. And we need to see, I think Tally said it last week, whenever you play bot into Corki, you just need to trade your bot off for the Corki package as soon as possible. It's not going to time out. They're going to lose the dragon before it times out, so it looks like they're just giving up the dragon completely, not interested in it. Only the second dragon. They're taking control of mid lane, not letting Ion walk back in and trying to get this full mid tier 2 tower.
It just seems too predictable, doesn't it? They said you're going to go for this dragon, you've got the package, we're not going to allow you to do that. We're going to say that package is going to get 0 value. How about we just walk straight down mid lane and take 2 turrets? It's completely exposed now. And what does that package accomplish? Nothing! As he jumps in, what is Jovi doing? The man's gone crazy with it. He's got no flash. He's just simply going to die. He pressed W twice, and he's not finding a W as a result.
Yeah, that was a very interesting play from Jovi, but they did get a kill. Well, they actually don't get a kill on Bard. It looked like Bard was going to die there, but very good for Kanga. They gave up the dragon, they got the mid tier 2, and might be a kill on Xayah here.
Uh-oh. How he pops, next flash, he was certainly on the money. He knew something was sitting too right with him and prevents that isolated 1v1.
Yeah, could have gone either way there. I think leading with the E there was a bit wrong because your E actually doesn't target champions on Akshan unless you've marked them with the passive. So you kind of have to start with your Q or an auto before you channel the E, otherwise it just hits the minions. Here we go, Kanga pulling the trigger on the Baron. They have a lot of damage. Look at that, 2 items of failures, 2 items Akshan. This thing melts.
Yeah, Renekton as well, 2 items complete for the Sky and Black Cleaver. They do so much damage. The 380 strongmen are absolutely getting it done right now. The Baron is being started in, comes Phone a little to try and smite steal this one away. It's going to go down to a 50-50. I saw 90 HP. It doesn't get much closer than that, but Refury's found one of the revives, and that's what he'll be happy about. As Iron are forced to run away from this one, and Kanga say we got the kills, we've got the Baron. Maybe, just maybe, this is our game to win now.
Yeah, I mean, Rila going full melee mode there, pays with his life. It was completely random who's going to get this Baron. I think it was at 20 health, and really here, they need to stop this Rel. Somebody needs to mark the Rel. I guess it has to be the Renekton that needs to go over. Nobody marks her, jumps in 12 HP on the Baron. I mean, and Rila going melee mode against 2 tanks, pays with his life, but that's probably the best case scenario for Kanga there if they're not going to mark the jungler. They get the Baron, and they do pay with 2 lives.
They certainly do, but ultimately still the driving seat is in favour of Kanga. They've certainly got control of this game, and with the buff still in their possession, they can look to try and open up some more positions on this map to yeah, really give them all these routes for something like this to occur, right? And Akshan in the shadows, waiting for terrain and waiting for somebody to step up in these side waves.
Yeah, and just look at the items for Xayah. She's just so pissed poor. Aphelios is going to get his 3rd item before she finishes her 2nd. He really does no damage to the front line of Kanga, so this is the time. Beautiful bottle.
What a
Has
bottle!
to flash. Yeah,
insta flash. He was so stuck.
Wow.
And yeah, great pressure.
Get on the money from Kurak, and that's what you want to see from Bard players, you know, just using it off cooldowns. Don't hold it, just get a summoner and be realistic with what you can get. 4-up, beautiful engage.
What a magnet storm onto 3 members. A flash has to be used to try and get out of it, but it does not matter. Invictus is dead. He's not even been able to use his ultimate. He's that strong, but they've lost all the DPS. Another drawback as the Rail stood up a 2nd kill that Jovi picks up. And this Corki, he's now 6-2. He is hitting that late game point. He has been the beacon of hope for them, but look at Rila. Red and white don't fight, so he doesn't. He just sieges. He's trying to win the game on his own.
Yeah, this is... if he gets the 2nd tower, it would be a blessing, but I don't think he does, unfortunately.
What are we witnessing?
What a throw from Kanga. I mean, you have Baron, and you're stronger in team fights. Why is your AD carry solo hitting mid tower, and everybody else is fighting bot? It's just very poor lane assignments. We'll have to see how it transpires, because really there should be no window to defend that bot tier 2. See, yeah, Aphelios is solo on the mid wave. Just the wrong champion to be mid. Aphelios needs to be grouped. It has to be Renekton mid, probably, or Lilia. And yeah, Ion see that, and they pull the trigger. And beautiful engage by Foreigner, sees the angle. They get the early TP from Aphelios, from Aatrox, and clean up the fight. There's just no way to fight 4v5 for Kanga. Aphelios has so much gold. We talked about it, a full item ahead of the Xayah. If he's not there, you're not winning.
Very awkward. I mean, just watching that replay, seeing the fact that really is pushing mid, Kurak's caught in 2 different minds. Do I group up with my Aphelios? Do I go back to the fight? Can't really help on either occasion, and I'll just punish all that indecision. And what was, 7 to 8k gold lead has shrunk down to just a mere 4. So I think you're looking at your Corki and saying, we don't really mind too much. Wood on, please don't do this.
Okay, at least he didn't do the Invictus. He watered the bush before he face checked it. We love to see that. And yeah, Kanga's still feeling strong, taking a free tower here, out of position for Ion. They were really setting up for that dragon, but when you have it in him down like this, it's not really a feasible contest, even if you just want to fight. And Kanga will have the positioning. The members of Ion are very, very late to this Drake. Perhaps have to give it, not the end of the world. It is just a 2nd dragon for Kanga. See what they decide to do, whether they want to fight it. It looks like Corki has package and TP, so this could be a really good fight for Ion.
It feels so dicey though, doesn't it? 7 towers to 1, and you still don't think that Kanga have got what it takes to close this one out with a bang. You just don't know what's around the corner here for Ion to do something crazy, something wild. But can we see a decisive ultimate that maybe turns this one? Look at Fury's positioning first. He's waiting for that one person to step out of position. In comes the TP from Jovi. He does have that package. And the Archers can secure their 3rd dragon of the game. So the package means absolutely nothing. They're going to disengage away from this one nice and cleanly and force Kanga to go back and show respect.
They need to bot ult somebody. Yeah, they need to bot ult to get the package and then...
Oh!
Okay. Oh, whoa, Wood on.
And
hello.
Why is Wood on there? Why is Wood on there? That is the question we'll never know the answer to, but either way, Nebula was the target, but he will not fall.
Yeah, just very hesitant from Kanga, and it seems like they're just not expecting these things. You know, they're hitting the dragon, they're not thinking about, does Corki have package? Does Corki have TP? And if he does have both those things, then maybe we shouldn't be starting the Drake. Maybe we should try and get a flash of them walking in. We should position for the turn. They just fell all over the place. We'll have a look when the replay comes in. But yeah, this 5k gold lead, it means absolutely nothing for Kanga now. We're getting into that territory where Corki does outrange them, where the Rel is getting substantially tankier and harder to kill for this Aksham, for this Aphelios. And the fact that Lilia still has no stopwatch is very concerning, because we saw the one time, and the bot tower, as soon as that engage hit him, he died basically instantly. 1v1.
You need it, absolutely do you need it, Jovi.
Whoa.
You've got to be careful here. He's picked up the Warden's Mal, he wants to be a bit of a tank so we can actually take
Bone
these
plating.
1v1s. He misses a rocket, he'll get to the second.
Oh, he's
Valkyrie into a potential stun from Bard, and
Nice.
there it is. Too much mobility. Far too easy for him to rotate quicker than an opposition and make sure that that side lane will finally be punished.
Yeah, this shows you the matchup. Look at the items. Akshan, full item behind of Corki, and still manages to get that 1v1. No TP though, no TP. So you might be thinking, why isn't Kanga pulling the trigger? But it is just 4v4 because Akshan is in base. A nice pick off, but really it doesn't mean too much. They will have control of the Baron actually, and there is no TP on Corki, so they could try to play for this Baron. Kanga, they need to try and pull the trigger when Akshan gets here, and they have a small window for the 4v5. Invictus stalling, don't stall the Baron, bud.
Yeah, not the play, not what we're after right now. But they are going to do whatever they can to try and zone out their opposition and make sure that this Baron will not be contested, but everybody's about to group up. Jovi doesn't have TP for this one, but can run back as quick as possible because it'll be a 4v5 for the meantime. Can Fona look to try and jump in for this one? No, stun into Tempered Fate, into clean disengage. Baron picked up by Kanga.
That's what you call on-the-fly problem solving, you know? Somebody said, guys, we're going to mark the jungler, and they did make the same mistake twice. Beautiful job from Kurak, and honestly, a lot of praise has to go to Kurak. He's gotten heaps of flashes this game, great vision control, and right there securing a 50-50 Baron into a 100% guaranteed objective.
It's been clean. You can't fault him for that one. Definitely set up a lot more convincingly, and as a result, got themselves back in the driving seat to say, yep, gold lead may be a little bit irrelevant, but we're feeling strong enough that we can contest these next few fights because Baron is theirs. Don't have to worry about Dragon for a hot minute, but with 7 turrets to 1, surely you're knocking on the door of either a reclaim of that mid inhibitor or finding a second one in bot.
Yeah, I think this is the window for Kanga to close the game out. If they're going to win, they need to win on this push. They need to find a pick-off and try and end the game. There's only one Nexus Tower, Skimmy, so one wave of minions is going to be enough to end this game. And interesting enough, Lilia still hasn't based. She's had the same items for like 4 minutes. So she doesn't have a stopwatch for this game-deciding fight, which could make a big difference.
It certainly could make the difference. It could definitely, be the game-winning play as a result of Flash looting Lullaby. Randuin's actually been picked up by Jovi. Wants to be as tanky as possible and make sure he is not dying to all these fed AD members. And they certainly are fairly fed in that regard, whilst Doraemon looks to try and put on his T1 Zeus boots and say, I'm a bit of a carry right now with triple lethality, shredding you down for that potential one-shot as an Aatrox, but they're holding on for dear life. This bot lane turret belongs to them.
Yeah, it does, and this time Aphelios is with the group, which is better. Akshat has to be very careful, Refury on the mid-wave to not get caught. They're slowly shipping out with the bot inhib.
Yeah, seemingly just going to sacrifice these two. They know that against the Baron Inspire team, it's just going to be a little bit too much. Not their fight to go for just yet. We might as well just wait for Soul Point. Infernal Dragon to claim for them. Will the game go that late though? Because this is what happened before when a solo Aphelios ran down mid. He went to try and basically backdoor.
It's one tower, Skimmy. They have to go.
One tower in the drain. Magnustorm goes out. Tempered Fate locks in place 3 members. As Water looks to try and take the 1v1 into Nebula, but Nebula's still alive. He turns back, rips back the feathers, and whilst Fono goes to sleep, so does his team as they put them down. But it does not matter because Refury's alive. He's swinging into action. He's going to try and fight 2 more. 1 more's what he needs, but they get wiped. Kurak is running for the hills.
He revives 2 people.
There. Unbelievable.
Wow, that was a big team fight, and very unlucky that he doesn't revive Renekton there, because if Renekton gets revived, he can immediately TP, right, and play to end the game. So, very close team fight, but when you have Akshan in these fights, and Akshan survives to the end, he gets the revives, and even if they lost that fight, even if Bard dies, there's nothing to get for Iron, just because of the revives coming in. We'll see the fight, so a great Akshan ultimate, kind of zoning away Jovi. Foreigner goes for the engage, finds a perfect engage on Aphelios. Aphelios doesn't instantly flash, ends up going down, and gets a huge, look at that healing on Aatrox. Gets a lot of health back, but the Akshan down just a little bit too much, and of course the resets on the swing. Very lucky there not to get hit by the Rel mid-swing, but yeah, overall I'd say favorable for Kanga. They get themselves 2 inhibs, they get that Nexus Tower open, and now comes the very fun part of playing Akshan, where you can absolutely backdoor this base. You see there's no pick ward in that one inhib, so Akshan could easily sneak his way into the base and go for the back door while the rest of Kanga siege top inhib.
Look, would that be the best way if you feel confident about your 1-1 prediction? Is this the way you want Kanga to win with a cheeky backdoor?
No, I'm just, honestly, I'm just too heartbroken. I'm expecting the worst and hoping for the best, so. Here we go. Akshan doing the perfect play. He's going bot lane. It's very hard for Ion to navigate this. They really need that pink ward. They did place that pink ward, but I think it might be a bad one. I think you can sneak around that ward for Akshan. So for Kanga, it's all about just buying time. Let Akshan get to that nexus, and really it's on Ion to pull the trigger. They have to engage in this top lane and also leave the right person to protect their nexus.
Yeah, it's a little bit dicey because, as you say, Riku right now is pushing the bot lane. Out goes the Magnet Storm. Across the wall he goes, but down he will crumble. They've lost their bards. The Tempered Fate was not used on that occasion, and now the split pushing potential that Refugee are trying to use with the assistance of those supers, that's no longer a possibility.
This is why I'm scared. You know, I'm scared to call it at any point when I watch Kanga games, because it could just throw it right back into the enemy hands. CG now is very dangerous. Obviously, you're down 4v5. Your Bard is a huge engage tool for this team. Really, there's no other engage options outside of a Lilia E. So Kanga have to be very respectful here. It's Ion going to be able to push out the lanes, get some control back in the jungle, perhaps move into this Baron area, which should be the next objective spawning. And Kanga just have to slow down the game. But the problem is, you see that bot wave, Skimmy, they're constantly bleeding those bot waves to the super creeps. So Kanga's actually slowly losing their gold lead. We just saw it was almost 8k just a couple minutes ago, and now it's down to 6. And that's just from the waves constantly being crashed in and not farmed by Kanga.
Yeah, I mean, it's fluctuating all over the show as well. It's really gone back and forth, but never in a position where you're thinking, all right, Iron have got control of this game again.
No.
I mean, at this point, you're stuck inside your base. You have to really resign all these objectives and say, all we're concerned about is, will we get backdoored by an Akshan, let alone an Aphelios, right? With all the mobility of a magic portal, suddenly you're popping across, and yeah, like, how do we look to actually get out of our base to step up for this Baron?
Yeah, Karak's got to be really careful, because most games you're happy to sacrifice your support, not this game. Bard is just too crucial. His ult pretty much guarantees a Xayah flash or a Xayah ulti, right? She has no dashes, no mobility. So he can't be the first person to die. He can't be the first person to go down in a team fight. So we'll see Kanga pushing out the lanes. It seemingly looks like they get a free Baron here, which is definitely great for them. Ion did not use the opportunity when Bard was dead to regain control of their top side. They weren't feeling confident, even in the 4v5. They're saying, look, we're going to wait for the Dragon. We've got the Corki package, and our ace in the hole is this Infernal Sword.
Well, that's right. Well and truly, Jovi is full build. You don't get stronger than this while filling your boots, really, at this point now. So if there's ever a chance for a late-game Corki at level 18 to show off and pop off, they are hoping for a miracle now. Another Baron, one of many, really, that have gone the way of the side of Kanga. And you saw multiple pings from either side, actually, pinging on their own Nexus, wondering, would there be a backdoor? There's no way to test this Baron. What do we do? We're kind of locked in a limbo here. If we leave our base to get the Inferno, we're stronger. Maybe we win the fight and we flip it off that. But if we leave our base, what if we get a backdoor? It's a very tough position to be in.
Yeah, and Akshan E on the side lanes is very good for getting away. So it's quite easy to actually pressure and very hard to die on Akshan. So if you commit too many resources to killing Akshan, boom, your top inhib is gone, right? The 4-stack grabs it. So it's a tough predicament for Ion. Really, they just have to pull the trigger again. They have to hope for a mistake from Kurak. And a one team fight here will get them Dragon Soul.
Looks, if anything more, it's a case of looking to try and poke out Nebula with little to no life still available in his kit. He just gets zoned away from this wave. I mean, there was an ultimate coming out there from the Moonlight Vigil, and that was enough to say you're back to the fountain. That's going to be, what, 2 inhibitors once again dropping on down. Out comes the package into a Baron-inspired opposition. They think, okay, can we make a play? No, we have to trim these waves and then look towards top lane. Perhaps top is their last stand.
Yeah, I think this is, you see a lot of indecision from Kanga going back and forth, Rila ghosting away with no threat, and they're really contemplating, they're thinking, okay, if we deny this Dragon Soul, we can try to end the game and not risk, you know, losing a team fight, losing the soul. But at the same time, if you don't try to push the game right now, you're wasting Baron, right? You're wasting Baron on getting this Dragon, so it's a tough ask. I think it is correct to just keep pushing and keep bouncing these Baron waves in. You will always be able to get this Dragon. And you really need to make progress on this this last top inhib.
It's so dicey, though. It does feel like throwing season where somebody's going to make a mistake and it's all going to come crumbling on down. But you have to wait. You have to bide your time and hope that you found yourself the most successful moment in this one, because every flash is up and available for the outplay potential. There is Invictus with the Zonias. He can stay topped up and healthy for as long as he can. And Woodon is going to be attempted to buy the Corki. But now, finally, they make their stance straight through mid. Burn that spell shield. Try and make this game happen now. The Magma Storm, that goes to the Fate, looking to place 4 members, that goes to Feathers, and they rip them back, but no, Nebula's dead! They've lost their 2 carries! Kanga are going to get it done! Unless something crazy happens right now from Doraemon, but no! It aced the denial and the 1-1 scoreline, and dare I say it, it may just be Phyto buff.
Oh, of course it is. It's the Arcton. He had to pick it. It's the Arcton gap there. I mean, the revives coming in clutch, even when they made mistakes. It just made it impossible for Ion to capitalize, to get any objectives back during the death timers. And yeah, very messy game. I can't say that I'm confident about Kanga's decision making, but they should be happy with getting the win.
Maybe not the cleanest game, maybe not the most straightforward one, but a win is a win nonetheless, and they will tie up this best of 2, 1 apiece. Finally, Kanga get their first points on the board and can remove themselves from that tie in 6th position. Well, we'll have all the stats and the breakdown right after this break. We'll see you very shortly. He went behind the back door.
What? That was kicking. They have to go.
One tower in the green, Mangastorm goes out, Template locks in place 3 members, trying to get the 1v1 into Nebula, but Nebula's still alive, he turns back, rips back the feathers, and while Chrono sleeps, so does the team, as they put them down, and it does not matter because Refury's alive, he's swinging into action, he's going to try 2 more, 1 more's what he needs, but they get wiped, Kirak is running for the hills.
He revived